Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face while you're sleeping. When coincidence strikes, most people find themselves divided into two camps: those inclined to dismiss such events as random, and those who sense meaning or a larger pattern behind them. Whatever it is, we can all agree that the universe is conspiring to add snippets of destiny and fate into our everyday lives. Today, we are looking at 10 amazing coincidences that you won't believe happened in real life. Number 10. Triplets reunited years later. As if having one doppelganger wasn't enough, this person has found two of them. As infants, these male triplets were individually adopted by three separate families without ever having the slightest idea about each other's existence. Fast forward 18 whole years later of being separate, two of them finally met one day as they happened to have enrolled in the same college. Both were very happy and excited to see each other, and the news of them being reunited in such a strange manner was published. It was then only that the third brother came to know about them and went out to seek his brothers. Astounded by the reunion, the three identical triplets became the subject of the 2018 documentary, which dug into the history of how they were separated in the first place. It was later found out that they were separated for scientific research so that the environmental effects could be studied upon the people having exactly similar genes. It seems like the three brothers weren't too happy to find out the truth, as they were reported to say that they were unhappy to be used as lab rats.
These people split us up and studied us like lab rats.
A similar experiment was conducted on a pair of twins earlier, named James Allen and James Allen, who were grown separately and were later found out to have similar names of wives and even pets. What a coincidence!
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 9. Church explosion avoided. This event will make it seem like something out of a Final Destination movie. A Baptist church in Beatrice, Nebraska suffered a gas leakage on March 1st, 1950, which caused an explosion that demolished the building and would have surely killed everyone inside. But luckily, no one was inside. Surprisingly, all 15 members of the choir that was to rehearse in the church that night were running late for their own individual reasons, which included oversleeping, incomplete homework, a broken down car, and even pure laziness. All these reasons worked to spare them from death, and they were all fortunate to be alive and wondered what had saved them all from the bad that could have happened to them. Was it luck, a fluke of probability, or an act of God? Number 8. 3 doomed ships survived. Many are lucky to escape death once, but imagine someone doing it 3 times. That too, in the very same situation. Violet Jessup doesn't have to imagine that, as she survived it all. Violet worked on board ocean liners for the White Star Line throughout the early 20th century, even after seeing 3 maritime disasters. What a work ethic, we've got to say. She was aboard Olympic in 1911 when it collided with a warship, but survived luckily, and only a few months later, she was one of the few survivors of the famous Titanic sinking, even tending to a lost baby in her lifeboat. When World War I began, she was appointed as a nurse in the ship known as the Britannic, which was at the time repurposed to a hospital ship. The unlucky ship struck an underwater mine in the Aegean Sea and sank. Jessup was fortunate enough to survive a head injury from a propeller and escape disaster once again. Well, we don't know whether to consider her lucky or unlucky. Now it's up to you to decide, and when you do, let us know in the comments below. Number 7. The thief on the front page. At least one fool ended up on Santa's naughty list in Idaho back in 2007, because just before the Christmas season, the sign painter Michael Milhouse made it to the front page of Lewiston Tribune for his unique, festive window decorations adorning the front of a store. But he didn't stay a beloved community member for long, because it was a coincidence that on the same front page, a screenshot of CCTV footage showed Milhouse as the perpetrator behind wallet theft. He was even wearing the same blue checkered coat in both of the pictures, making it too easy to figure out that both of them were the same person. Readers of the paper caught the hint quickly and called the authorities to tell them their findings. And poor Milhouse, who had just started enjoying his fame, was promptly taken into custody. Number 6. Hopkins finds an author's book. Up next, we have a story that will definitely make you believe in fate. The actor Anthony Hopkins had been cast in the adaptation of The Girl from Petrovka and wanted to read the original book before he acted on it. He went out to find the original book, but couldn't find a copy of it anywhere until he found an abandoned book on a nearby bench, which just so happened to be a heavily annotated copy of the book he was looking for.
What are you reading?
A book.
Yes, but what sort of book?
And he took it with him. Later on, while he was filming the movie, he met the author of the book named George Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer said that he had lent his copy of the book to a friend who had misplaced it. Hopkins then showed Pfeiffer the book he had found lying on a bench, and Pfeiffer recognized his own annotations, proving it was indeed Pfeiffer's lost book. At least he could say without any doubt that he did his research, right? Number 5. Future couple. The idea of a Prince Charming that is so beautifully portrayed in the Disney movies did come true for this girl in none other than the land of fantasies itself. Yes, we're talking about Disneyland. Back in the day when both of them were living in different countries and hadn't met ever or fallen in love, both Donna and her future fiancé Alex were snapped in the same photograph at Disney World. As the very young Donna was being photographed with Mr. Smee, Alex came in the background as he was being pushed by his father in a stroller. The engaged couple discovered this as they were going through old photographs and were very excited to find this out. This surely is a twist of fate that had been written in the stars. It is heartwarming to know that, at least for this couple, a little Disney magic with a sprinkle of some pixie dust maybe did make their lives better and full of love. Number 4. Same chopper, different ages. Here's the story of a boy who was very ambitious and had high hopes. The boy, in his childhood, was at an air show with his father and had his photograph taken behind the controls of a Kiowa helicopter. This experience inspired him to pursue a career as a pilot, and 20 years later, the boy actually grew up to fulfill his wish and live his dream. He found the picture after some time of being a pilot and recognized the Kiowa helicopter as one of the crafts he had been flying. Curiosity kicked in, and when he dug a little deeper, he was astounded to find out that the serial number on the helicopter he had been flying was the same one as the helicopter in which he sat as a child, and saw the dream of becoming a pilot one day. When it comes to wish fulfillment, this guy has crossed the limit and is so lucky to get to pursue his childhood passion and dream. Number 3. A villager saves a father and son 30 years apart. 80-year-old Zhu Weifeng lived by a river with his wife in the Jiangsu province of China for all of his life. He became somewhat of a local celebrity in 2018 when he saved a young boy from drowning in the river. Despite being an old-aged fellow and also recovering from an injury at that time, he did not hesitate even a bit to save the young boy's life and jumped into the river. The local news picked up on his heroic efforts, and after having a long conversation with the boy, Mr. Zhu was amazed that he had saved the same boy's father 30 years earlier from drowning in the same river. 2 generations of the same family rescued from drowning in the same river by the same heroic person. Isn't that incredible? Either Mr. Zhu was their guardian angel, or Jiangsu must invest in some guardrails. That's what we can conclude from this tale. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by one of our subscribers. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it on over to us. Who knows, we might even feature it in a future video. Number 2. OZIL and ENZO Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari, founder of the Italian supercar company Ferrari, died in the same year that the famous German soccer player Mesut Ozil was born. 1988. This in itself would be completely meaningless, except that the two men look nearly identical in many photographs, leading people to remark that the genetic coincidence makes a strong case for reincarnation, or that they could both be related in some way. What do you guys think? Number 1. Franz Ferdinand's car predicts the armistice. The event that kicked off World War I is said to be the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914 that paved the way for the beginning of a 4-year-long war that tore through Europe before finally ceasing on November 11th of 1918, known and celebrated as the Armistice Day in present times. Strange enough is the fact that this day of peace had already been set in store at the war's inception. Ferdinand was, of course, shot dead while he was riding in his car through the streets of Sarajevo, and the historical car now resides in an Austrian military history museum. The license plate of the car reads AIII 118, which can be interpreted as A for armistice, and the rest of the characters for the date of the 4-year-long war's conclusion. The Archduke has the honor of bookending the war with these important numbers. Very interesting, isn't it? Has any such coincidence happened to you ever? Let us know in the comment section below. We will be glad to hear it. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.